Hey y'all, happy Friday. It's been a while, but I'm back and just wanted to say hi and give a little, I don't know what you want to call it, vlog talk to y'all. So there's been a lot going on lately. We're getting ready to move actually into our new place on September 21st. So we've been doing a lot of packing and a lot of getting ready and, calling BGE, getting everything set up. So it's a lot of stuff going on. Also, sadly, my uncle passed away last week. He was my mother's twin brother, so she's very upset about that. Of course. And we went to the funeral down in North Carolina. Actually, Marshall, North Carolina. I don't know if any of y'all know where that is. It's a tiny little town. The population is actually only 903 people, so less than 1,000 people. But it is gorgeous. It is, the mountains are just beautiful. It is definitely God's country there. It was like 90 degrees, maybe even a little more, but up in those mountains, it feels like it's only like 70, 75 at the most because there's such a nice breeze going. So I'd actually like to move up there one day. Up there, down there, not really sure, whichever way it goes. But anyway, that's what's been going on with me. And I'm gonna get ready for work soon, but just wanted to drop a quick video. And my topic for today is it's going to get a little uncomfortable for some, probably definitely my children if they're watching this, but is sex. And mostly, I have a question. I've been thinking about this a lot lately. I have 3 children, as I've said before in my other videos. One of them is 18, so she's, technically an adult, which I don't think 18 is considered an adult. That's just me. I think until you're like at least 23, 25, you should not be considered an adult because you just don't have that thought process yet and you're still learning, but it's still considered an adult. So I have an adult, and I have a 14-year-old son, and I have a 13-year-old daughter. So I've been a single mom all my life, and so I had to be the one to, well, of course, usually the mom has the talks with the girls, but I also had to have the talk with my son. I mean, his father did talk to him a bit. He's he's said his part and all, but my son had to learn a lot from me as well. So it was kind of like, what do I say, and am I saying the right things? So I was just thinking the other day, like, what is the appropriate age to have the talk with your children? I myself started very young having the talk with my children because I became pregnant at a very young age, and I did not want to see that happen to my children. So I pretty much started talking to them probably around like 7. I don't know if that's too young or whatnot, but we used to watch this show, Everybody Hates Chris, and on it the mother was always like, I ain't raising no babies. And so I'd make a joke of it, and I'd always tell them, I ain't raising no babies, you better be careful, and da 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 da. So then as they got older, I started to elaborate more, and where babies come from and how they are made. And I did tell my older daughter, when you do think you're going to have sex, or you feel like you want to, or whatever, please come to me, and we can go and we can get you on some sort of birth control. That way there's no oops or anything like that, any surprises. So she actually did. She came to me and she let me know, and so we went to the doctor, and I thought she was going to have a pap smear and everything, because when I first went to the gynecologist at like 16 or something, they gave me a pap smear. So, but when I took her, she was all nervous too. She was like, scared, and because I explained to her what it was. But when she went to the gynecologist, they were like, oh no, we don't start doing that until, later 20s. And they said actually now that they found out that that's bad to start doing it so early. So I was like, oh, okay, well, good to know. I've been having them ever since I was 16. So, but anyway, she got on the proper birth control, and, so she's sexually active, which, is, at least she came to me about it. My son now, he's 14, and he's very private as far as all that goes. I've asked him, like, are you a virgin? And he tells me no comment. So, I mean, I don't know exactly what that means, but I don't know. I hopefully, and I tell him, if you are having sex, please, use a condom, and he also knows, I still tell him to this day, I ain't raising no babies. So, and he knows, if that does happen, that he needs to be a man, step up, take responsibility. So, I've always been kind of not embarrassed to talk about this type of thing at my house with my children. My older two, actually, they will talk to me more about it. Like, but my youngest daughter, she is so sweet, and even though she's 13, she's still very young at heart, and so I do talk to her a little bit about it, but she, I don't think she's like ready to get the full on, talk about everything yet. She does know about sex and all this and that. So, basically, like, my point of this is, as a parent, what is a good age to start, talking to your children about this? Because this is something that, is very important, that you do need to address with your kids, and especially with, the age of children having children these days. I was one of those, and my parents really didn't talk to me about sex, and, I'm not blaming them whatsoever, but, maybe if I had been a little more informed, maybe if I had listened in school a little bit more, I would have taken more precautions. I mean, not that I don't love my children, and I don't regret any of my children at all, but, I was very, very young. But I am glad it happened. Everything happens for a reason, and I'm blessed to have them. I would not change it for the world. But, I sometimes, though, when I'm talking to my children, I think, did I say too much or something? Like with my son, I know boys, when they get to a certain age, they start to, discover themselves. And I, told him, I know you're going to do this, and I even kind of made a joke of it, like, if you're going to do this, go into the bathroom, don't make a mess in your bed. And he got really grossed out by it and got all embarrassed and whatever. So, it's kind of like, I don't know what I should be saying and what I shouldn't be saying to them. I'm just trying my best, as a parent, and, if I were to tell other parents that, they might look at me in disgust and be like, what is wrong with her, but to me, it's, just how I how I parent, and, so, I don't know, like, I was reading, online about that the average age for boys losing their virginity is 16 years old, and the average age for girls is 17. So, I mean, I thought I was a late bloomer. When I lost mine, I was 17, and all my other friends had already done it, and so I was pretty much the last one, and it was, I mean, it was a great experience, it was something I'll never forget. And actually, the person I lost it to, I still talk to him to this day, and we're friends. He has his own life going on, he's very successful, doing well for himself, and I got my own stuff going on. So, but it's just like, I really do feel like it's something that parents need to address and talk to their children about. But then again, you gotta, well, at least I wonder, what are the right things to say? What is the right age? And like, I've been to these back to school things and these, parent teacher meetings, PTAs and stuff. And the information they give is not helpful at all. Like, it's really not. I feel like a lot of parents are very sheltered. I don't know if it's because I am a younger parent. I don't know, but I did go to this back to school night one time, and they were talking about this is not even the subject of sex or whatever, but they were talking about drugs and everything, and how to address this with your children, and how to talk to your children about drugs and not using them. Well, they started talking about like inhalants and huffing, and this one couple was like, what? They do what? Like, they had never heard of it before in their life, and they sat there, raised their hand, and was like, what do you mean, that they huff this, the computer dusters? And it was, they had actually never heard of it, which I found a little odd. They were like probably in their later 40s, and where I live right now, there is a huge opioid crisis going on right now. So not that huffing is an opioid, but it's a problem. Drugs in general and people overdosing and stuff like that. Actually today, Mac Miller just passed away, and it was from a drug addiction. So that's a big problem going on in this world, and especially where I live. And it just took me so much by surprise that like these parents truly had no idea. And they were like, oh, well, my child would know if, that was happening. And they would know, parents were sitting there saying, that wouldn't be my child. My child will never try drugs, And before I had children, I used to be one of those people and be like, not my child. That would never be me. But then when I had children, I realized that that's one of the worst things to say, is don't ever say that will never be my child. And because God forbid it might one day, so don't ever look down on another parent and be like, oh, I can't believe that your child does that, and I can't believe you let them get away with that. Some of the best parents in the world have children, that have addiction problems and that are, promiscuous or stuff like that. And, they've tried their best. It's, when it comes right down to it, it's the child's will, it's God gave us all free will, and it's what they're choosing to do. So I'm going totally off the topic. But anyway, my topic here was about sex in the right age. And, I don't know what made me think about it. I've just been thinking about it lately. I guess it's because I did ask my son that. And I am wondering, did I tell him enough? Does he know enough to be careful? And, also I was watching a lot of videos, and I love Josh Peck. And I know he just announced like that he's having a baby, which, not like he's going to watch my video, but congratulations to Josh Peck. And he does this losing my V card, and he's, interviewed some people like Tana Mojo or whatever her name is. I don't care for her myself, but he's also interviewed some other people, and so the topic's been on my mind, so I just thought I'd talk a little bit about it and see what y'all think. If y'all want to answer back, if not, if you just, like to hear me talk, which I enjoy, and I thank you all so very much to each and every one of you that do take the time out to watch my videos and to subscribe and, comment. That it really does mean a lot to me. And I know I say this on every video, but it really does mean a lot to me because, I do enjoy doing this, and it's not something I'm doing for, fame or trying to get my foot in the door for anything. It's just something that I like to do. It's kind of a release for me. I honestly don't talk to that many people. Like, I have my work and I have my children and, you know, my parents and my fiance. You know, other than that, I don't really have that many friends, to be completely honest. I used to have a lot of friends, but as I got older, you know, I realized sometimes a lot of friends can bring a lot of drama, and I kind of like being drama free. It's less, you know, complicated, and it's definitely a lot less stress, and I'm just too old for all of it. So you know, just a gal trying to do her best, worked hard and parent, and you know, but I still got questions, and I guess this was one that was on my mind. So thank you so much for watching, and I hope you all have a good night. I am going to go try to get maybe an hour's worth of sleep before I have to go into work tonight. So take care and see you later. Bye.